Back to the daily grind, and y'all know we gotta talk about this. But before we do, make sure you hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back bagel biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
Gegard Mousasi, one of the #1 pound-for-pound fighters on the planet, has a message for all the people who think he lost to Alexander Shlemenko. For one, he thinks they're all children, and for two, he also says that he'll never give Alexander Shlemenko a rematch, and they can all suck it. Holy flying flipping flapjacks. I'll tell you this much, I did not expect that second part of there where he said he'll never give Shlemenko a rematch, but it is what it is. I mean, I'm not sure why that is. That is something I would like to know. I don't know if it's because he thought Alexander Shlemenko intentionally poked him in the eye, which is what left him with one eye early in the fight. If you don't know how that fight went, about Gegard Mousasi versus Alexander Shlemenko, I mean, both of these guys, if I'm not mistaken, have over 50 professional fights and really good records. Like, Alexander Shlemenko might be like 47-7 or something. If you go and look up his overall professional record, Gegard Mousasi as well. These guys have been around fighting all over the world for a long time. Gegard Mousasi was actually on a 4 or 5 fight winning streak in the UFC on the way to a title shot when he became a free agent and signed with Bellator MMA. But he was still arguably one of, if not the greatest middleweight on the planet, definitely one of, and he's also fought in multiple divisions, which is why he's one of the top pound-for-pound fighters. This guy's fought all the way up at heavyweight, if I'm not mistaken, and he now fights at 185 pounds. But Gegard Mousasi is no slouch. Whenever he went to Bellator MMA, he was matched up with Alexander Shlemenko, and in the first round, Gegard Mousasi got poked in the eye, and I don't think it was intentional, but it did leave, and I don't even know if it was actually he got poked in the eye. I'm going off of memory here, and he says that he'll never give Shlemenko a rematch, and that's the first thing that came to my mind. Like, what, you think it was intentional? Kind of like how, you know, Michael Bisping said he'll never give Vitor Belfort a rematch, and I don't know if it's because he felt like he intentionally injured his eye, but that is the fight where Michael Bisping's eye injury came from. So I don't know if that's why Gegard will never give Shlemenko a rematch, or if he feels, you know, because normally it's like, well, if you can beat the guy, you'll give him a rematch. You know, yeah, that fight was close because my eye was hurt, but I mean, I can beat the guy. I'm the better fighter. That's what I was under the impression of. I felt like Gegard won the fight, and he would have won it more dominantly had not that eye injury, which he fought through. But one of the things is, whenever you have a fighter injured or on the ropes, you've got to get that finish. You're not supposed to leave it in the judge's hand. You know what I'm saying? We saw that in the Fabricio Verdum Alistair Overeem fight when they fought most recently. A lot of people thought Fabricio Verdum could have won the fight. He even had Alistair Overeem hurt in the 3rd and final round, but the fight made it to the decision. Fabricio Verdum, I believe, decided to grapple with Overeem, and you can't leave it in the judge's hands. You've got to get that finished, or we've seen worse decisions. What happened in this fight? Gegard Mousasi, he was injured in the first round, eye injury. You know, takes his vision away. He's still got 2 more rounds to go. So, you know, you should be able to capitalize off that and not let him win any rounds. Not one, not, you know, a half of a round. You're supposed to be able to at least get the finish if you see someone hurt. What were people saying about Andres Tukultas, Sean O'Malley? He had that leg injury. You know, the worst thing you can do is wrestle him. You know, try and get the finish. Either if you're not going to knock him out, I mean, in that case, you could have just let him stand up. But, you know, you're supposed to be trying to get the finish a lot of these times, especially if you might be down in the fight. And if you can't, if you just for whatever reason, if you can't
finish him,
if you can't get the finish, well, then you know what I'm saying? It's up to the judges. And in this case, Gegard Mousasi got his hand raised. The judges thought he won the fight. And now this is Gegard Mousasi's reaction, even though there was a lot of people who even came at me like, no, Gegard lost the fight. I don't think that's the case either. But he said, to the people that say I lost, I can tell them I'll never give Shlemenko a rematch and they can suck it. I'm going to take this victory to my grave and I don't care. I won. Like I said, long hair, don't care. He didn't say that part, but he did say I won. I don't care. Like I said, the guy is tough. I'm fighting the champion next. People don't know him that well, but he's champion for a reason. He's talking about Rafael Carvalho, Bellator's current middleweight champion. Gegard Mousasi will be getting that title shot. And I do believe Gegard Mousasi is probably the best middleweight currently at Bellator. Rafael Carvalho, don't sleep on him, but I would be picking Gegard Mousasi off the top of my head in that fight. Gegard Mousasi has a win over Chris Weidman. I think that was his most recent win when he left the UFC. Came over to Bellator, got the one-odd win over Shlemenko. I'm looking forward to Bellator, to Gegard Mousasi's next fight versus Rafael Carvalho. It's going to be at Bellator 200. David Rickles versus MVP is also announced for that card, so it's going to be a great fight, great title fight with Gegard Mousasi. And to everyone that thinks he lost to Alexander Shlemenko, hey, it is what it is. Gegard says you can suck one in typical Gegard fashion. So with that being said, it is what it is. Let the full-time family know what you think in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button and also hit the notification bell right next to it so you're notified every time I upload a video. I'm out.
Da 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 da. It's the motherfucking DOG.